Hi everyone. It's the end of 2024 and I thought it would be a worthwhile exercise to look at some of the things that we should consider eliminating in the year to come. We always make resolutions at the end of a year and it's typically something like I'm going to lose 10 pounds, or I'm going to eat better, I'm going to be better with my money. And often these resolutions get abandoned by month number 3 or, around March. I think it's really worthwhile to look at ditching some habits in 2025 that you don't even consider as being detrimental to your well-being. But the fact is that we do things to ourselves that make it hard for us to see the opportunities around us, or that sometimes prevent us from doing the things that would actually allow us to be successful with the resolutions that we seem to continue to make at the end of each year. So stay with me and let's go through a few things that I think are worth abandoning and ditching in 2025. If you're new here, my name is Reina and this is Small Retired Life. On this channel, we talk about all things retirement and how to live a small but meaningful retired life. Welcome here. If you've followed me long enough on my channel, you know that I really enjoy Stoic philosophy. In a lot of ways, I believe that I am a Stoic person by nature. It could be that I'm Eastern European, and Eastern Europeans tend to have a more Stoic outlook in their life. So some of these things come naturally to me. But Stoic philosophers were very pragmatic and had a pragmatic way of dealing with life and the things that life would throw at us. I will be using a little bit of Stoic philosophy to go through some of these things that I believe we should all ditch in 2025. The first thing I think we should eliminate is an obsession of dwelling on the past or focusing too much on the future. In Stoicism, not dwelling on the past and not dwelling on the future aligns with the principle of living in the present moment and controlling the things that we can control, the things that are within our reach. What is past is already gone. What is in the future hasn't happened yet. Our control over those two time frames are almost non-existent. We can learn from our mistakes in the past, of course. We can definitely make plans so that our future is good, such as saving money for retirement. But at the end of the day, we really don't have a lot of control as to what happens in the future. There could be all kinds of events that will foil every good plan that we've ever made. Sometimes when you focus too much on the past and on the future, you're actually missing all of the opportunities that are right in front of you. The concept of time, to me, is that time is so finite. We only have so many days to live, so many days to be here. We don't want to fritter that time away. I'm not saying that you can't have fun or you can't take downtime or you can't do things that make you happy. What I'm saying is that you need to be cognizant of your time and cognizant of the fact that when you're dwelling too much on the past and when you're focusing too much on the future, you are actually not looking at the time that you have available to you right at this moment. So I would say focus on the present moment. Epictetus, a great Stoic philosopher, said, "How short and insignificant is the fleeting time assigned to each of us. Do your best to live as well as possible in the present moment." So in this quote, he is saying, don't look back on the past or the future, but focus on the time you have and live as best a life as you can. Use your time well and do meaningful things in the present moment. Stoics also believed that dwelling too much on the future produces a lot of anxiety. I think that's probably true. A lot of times when I start thinking too much as to what's ahead, what could potentially happen, I find I can't sleep at night. I get anxious, I get worried. Fact is, none of that really helps, and none of that makes me take positive action because I'm too busy worrying. I find I do best when I look at what's available to me right now and how I can use those resources to make my life meaningful right now. It kind of was the same when I started my YouTube channel. For a while there, I just was so worried about, oh, if I put a video out there, what will people think? How will it come across? No one's going to listen to it. Like, I focused so much on all the things that potentially could happen in the future. It was preventing me from just making a video and putting it out there. When I stopped worrying about those things, and I took stock as to what was available to me as far as equipment and my surroundings and my ability to edit, I just did it and I got a video out. And it was a positive thing in the end. Don't lose opportunities by wasting your time thinking about all of the things that didn't work out in the past, or all of the things you did wrong, or all of the things you might do wrong that you haven't done wrong yet, by focusing on the future. Be present for yourself right now. The second thing to stop doing in 2025 is seeking external validation. I think it's more important that you find a place within yourself to validate yourself. The problem with external validation, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it's lovely to get a nice compliment, but you can't control that. You can't control people telling you that you're doing the right thing. Often people will tell you what you're doing is not the right thing, or what you're doing is boring, or that you should change something. You need to be able to assess what's important to you and to take a critical look at the things that you are doing, and if you're happy with them, be able to validate them yourself. I also think that if you focus too much on what other people are saying, you are really paying more attention to the opportunities that are important to them, as opposed to the opportunities that are really critical to you yourself, and that are open for you, and that are right for you. And the only way you can do that is by examining your own internal thoughts and what's important to you critically. You can't do that if you place too much emphasis on what someone else is saying to you. Epictetus said, "Seek not the good in external things, seek it in yourselves." What he's saying is, look inside, identify what's important, identify the good things, and see how you can use that self-validation to move forward and to do more good in the world, or to offer a contribution to other people. I think when you are able to validate yourself, you're actually fostering independence from other people. You are becoming a little more, I guess, self-assured, more confident about yourself. And that's important because, again, when you're more confident about yourself, you are more open to the opportunities that are presenting themselves. As a YouTuber, it's so easy to fall into the trap where you get so many compliments from people that when you get a negative comment, you don't look at that comment critically, because you're kind of like, oh, well, everybody else liked it, so what's wrong with you? But sometimes the critical comments are the ones that can teach you the most lessons. If you're not self-confident as a person, then some of these negative comments can actually crush you. And I'm not talking about mean comments. I mean, yes, ignore those. I ignore those. But I'm talking about comments that have something to say that could teach you something. When you're consistently depending on external validation, you miss those moments that allow you to grow as a person, and then allow you to say, hey, I did a good job. I learned something new. So stop focusing on being validated externally, and instead make it more important to tell yourself that you've done a good job, and believe that you've done a good job. The third thing to ditch in 2025 is fear and resistance of change. Our universe is constantly in flux, as I'm sure we all realize. Avoiding change or trying to control change to not happen is a futile exercise. We have zero control over change and whether change happens or not. I think when things become different or when things change, we need to look at it as the beginning of something as opposed as the end of something. It's like that with retirement. I think I've said this in other videos. Retirement is the beginning of something new. It's the beginning of a new life. There's opportunity in change if we're willing to see it. And I think that if change happens and it's a negative change, we need to be able to reframe it and look at it with the lens of something positive. So when I was laid off in my late 50s, yes, that was very difficult to face because it's loss of income. You know, you could be in a situation that's uncomfortable for a while. But what I did is I looked at it from the point of view of how can I turn that to my benefit? How can I make this an opportunity for me? What can I do to use the circumstances and create something new? You know, via several different kind of winding journeys, it ended up with me starting this YouTube channel. So change can always, I believe, be turned into something positive if you reframe the situation and you look at it from a positive lens. I think that change allows us to practice resilience and being courageous, and it opens our mind to new things and new opportunities that maybe we normally wouldn't look at. Seneca said, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. And I think what he's saying there is that when we face change and we face difficulty, it makes our brains work. There's a tendency to kind of atrophy in a way when things are too good. And it's really important that we continue making our brain work. I mean, it is a muscle after all. And the more we use it, the better we get at it. So I think that the more we are able to look at change as a positive thing, the more confident we become and the better we get at seeing opportunities that come with change. I think that I used to be kind of more of a negative person when I was younger, but as I grew older, I really reframed my situation to become more positive because I truly believed that by becoming more positive, I opened my eyes to opportunity. I really do look at negative things now more through the lens of how can I make this work for me? And that took practice. And this is something that's free. It's available to everyone, to each of you. Each and every one of you has the capacity to take a negative situation and make it work for you. It just takes some flexibility, being open to ideas and suggestions, and to also be willing to do something scary, try something hard, and maybe take a little bit of a risk. The fourth thing to stop in 2025 is to stop indulging in negative emotion and thought. There is nothing that is more of an energy suck than constantly feeling negative about something. Negativity just drains your soul. I think it's really important to maintain control over your emotions and to not get succumbed into this negative hole, because the more negatively you think, the harder it is for you to actually execute positive action. I think it also kind of keeps you in this realm of constantly feeling unhappy about your situation. And I mean, I see it sometimes. People will say to me in my comments, well, clearly you must be rich if you can go to Australia, or you must be rich to do this, that, or the other thing. Newsflash, I'm not rich, but I work hard to ensure that my circumstances allow me to do the things I love. I ensure that my thought process is about what I can do as opposed to dwelling on things I can't do. As an example, when I thought about the fact that I didn't have the money to go to Australia, I didn't sit there and brood about the fact that I didn't have money to go to Australia. Instead, I asked myself the question, what can I do to earn that money? What is out there? What kind of a side gig can I engage in to earn the extra money to do this trip that I really want to do? I think coming at it from a positive perspective is so much more powerful than sitting there and dwelling in negativity and being jealous of other people and what they have that you don't have. When you think of your circumstances in a positive way, you actually empower yourself again to see opportunity and to be open to opportunity. Everyone can do this. Everyone can reverse a negative thought into a positive thought. Everyone can do the work that's necessary to make something happen for themselves. It's in our power to control the right now, our present moment, as we talked about before. That is in your control. How you think is in your control. The key word here is controlling the things you can control. Emotions, even though, of course, sometimes we do feel negative and it's normal to have negative thoughts, what is not normal is to consistently feel negative, where, your glass is always half empty. This is a habit. Like any other habit, we have to change it to a positive habit. And it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. If we have a tendency to think negatively about everything, there is definitely some merit in that practice of getting up in the morning, thinking about a few things that you are grateful for. I think when we can identify our positives, when we can identify the good things in our life, then we allow ourselves to be open to more new things and more positive things. Whereas when we consistently dwell on the negative, then that's what we're reinforcing. I know that sounds a little bit woo-woo, but I don't think it is. It's like I said, negativity is a habit. To change a bad habit, you have to replace it with something else that's positive. Kind of focusing on the good things that you have and some of the things that you can be grateful for is a start to that. Everyone can do this. This is something that's free and that's available to all of us. So I think I will stop with these 4 things. In a nutshell, some of these principles are so basic. Don't live in the past. Don't look too far into the future and get anxious about what's coming or not coming. Live in the present moment. Don't look at external validation as the thing that prompts you to move forward. Try to validate yourself and try to validate internally what you're doing. Don't depend on other people because you can't control them. By focusing too much on other people and what they're saying, you're missing out on opportunities that are right for you. Don't fear change. Look at change as a beginning for something new. Don't dwell in negativity. Look at life as a positive experience. Try and reframe anything negative into something positive for you. I look forward to 2025. This video is being posted on December 31st in the morning, just before the new year starts. And I want to wish all of you a very happy new year. I want to thank you for supporting my channel by watching my videos and listening to my ramblings, or watching me decorate my house or make food or whatever I happen to be doing. I hope the very best for all of you in 2025, and I look forward to the new year and see what the new year brings in terms of content for my channel and things that I can share with you. So happy 2025, and I will see you all next year, i.e. next week on Tuesday.